And then mid-tier, I'll say Trouba if Buffalo doesn't play, but we expect Buffalo to play. All right, let's go.
Live. You want to bring us in?
Oh, yeah. I thought you were doing that. I was kind of waiting. All right, ready?
I was just getting water.
Oh, okay. You good, though? All right. 3. Hello, and welcome to the Morning Skate Podcast. I am your host, TJ Mitchell, here with Matt Moody to discuss the March 28th slate. It's a pretty big Tuesday slate. So how you doing, Matt?
Doing all right. Monday is not shaping up to be my finest tonight, so it's a bit disappointing, but we soldier on.
Yeah, I feel like I'm really hit or miss tonight. Like, every lineup has really good points. I just kind of went GPP night, like heavy, because I thought I had the magic formula, and I have like a lot of good hits, and they're not all together. But you know what? Yeah, we soldier on. We're gonna go right into Tuesday. We're a week away from MLB season. I think is it exactly a week?
It starts on Sunday with a 3-game slate, and then Monday is the first huge
mega
slate.
Yeah. So we got a week left of. I'm guessing hockey contests might diminish a little bit. Do you think? With MLB coming in, or do you think we'll still see about this? Not much.
I mean, I would imagine they go down, but not incredibly. Because I mean, more popular. It's not like the people who play NHL are here to stay for the most part. So
a couple of weeks away from the end of the NHL season, playoffs are taking form, and NCAA players are joining the NHL after their seasons end. So we had one go tonight, Clayton Keller, who wasn't in the pool. I'm really excited to see what he does in the hometown of St. Louis. And then we got one guy that we're going to talk about tonight during the slate. So we'll just keep mentioning them every show if anyone pops up. But it normally takes them about a day. Like after their first game, they'll normally jump in the slate. So we'll have time to find them before anyone else. Okay, so let's get started. Matt, you want to read off the games?
Yes, I do have it up right here. So I don't want to count. I think there's 10, maybe more, maybe less, but I'll just read them off. We have Buffalo on a back-to-back at Columbus, Detroit at Carolina, yet again. This is a continuation. Tonight, Monday night, was a rematch of their rain, or I guess it was kind of rained out because the ice turned into water. But so this is a back-to-back of the same exact game. Detroit is also playing their third game in 3 nights. So it's interesting, to say the least. We don't have that happen very often. We have Nashville on a back-to-back at Boston, Ottawa at Philly, Winnipeg at New Jersey, Dallas at Montreal, Florida on a back-to-back at Toronto, Washington at Minnesota, LA at Edmonton, Anaheim at Vancouver, and the Rangers at San Jose. So a lot of games. I believe the special tournament on DraftKings tonight is the $150 Light the Lamp. I think that's what it's called. So good luck if you are playing in that. And we have the normal, $4, $27 games depending on your bankroll. So should be a fun slate. Always like these bigger slates because a ton of options and a ton of ways to go wrong, really. So that's kind of what we try to do here, help you avoid those landmines.
Yeah, definitely. So do you just want to get started with center, or do you want to mention any game in particular?
No, I think what's popping up in my Excel sheet is more of the Western games, which is kind of surprising. Like, I don't think Vegas will be quite as heavy on these games as, the 10-game trends are pointing to. So it might be a better sign for GPPs for me. But, we'll see. We have a lot of time to balance Vegas and news and things like that to create good lineups. So let's just carry on into center.
Yeah, so at the top we have McDavid, Matthews, Eichel, the 3 that are going to be here for the next 15 years. Do any of these, just before we get into I don't think either of us have one of them as like smash plays, but You want to talk on any of these guys to start? I mean, obviously McDavid's gonna draw as much Kopitar as LA can afford to do being on the road. But do any of these three kind of like jump off the page as maybe a cash play?
Um, I mean, I think for me it's still Eichel, like as the cash play. They're on a road, they're on the road and in back to back, so it's not a great spot. I don't really see myself spending up here. Like I do love McDavid, like all the time. I don't really see uh, that many value plays that really allow you to play McDavid with some of the other studs that we have. So I think you
Yeah.
might be better off just kind of hoping he doesn't go for a 10-point night like he's capable of. Um, Matthews is just overpriced, and Eichel seems to fit in pretty nicely.
Yeah, Eichel. If everything stays according to plan, he will hit the the 1 point per game mark. He has 2 points tonight, which would get him up to 55 in 55 games. So it's definitely nice to see how like dominant he was. I know on the first goal for the Sabres tonight, he skated in, just burned the defenseman, ripped the shot low, perfect rebound for O'Reilly, just like made that goal happen. I know all three of them are capable of that kind of stuff. So it's like never like I never want to say avoid them all, but the matchups just aren't great for any of them, I think. So
Yeah, I think I'm just pulling up FanDuel now, but Matthews has been pretty underpriced there for like
yeah,
the last couple weeks, so he's in consideration over there. But he had 6 shots and a goal against the Sabres, but he still didn't really look like dominant self. He doesn't really seem to control the neutral zone the same way that he was before, and like that's a pretty, I don't claim to watch every single minute of every single. But there was something that stood out to me because he's usually so, he's usually so good at kind of being like Eichel and making guys like turn and run for their lives, and he just didn't really seem like he had that extra gear. So.
yeah.
But yeah, while I was stalling, he is 7K, like same price as Bergeron and Backstrom, even Barkov on FanDuel. So, I think that makes him a decent play over there, if not.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll get right into the center. We'll start with my first guy. We'll just start with it. Who really cares? I decided to look at Patrice Bergeron tomorrow against Nashville. Nashville on a back-to-back. I know. Like, I just feel like Nashville doesn't really have a line that can match up with Boston 1. Like, Boston 1 dominates possession against every team. Nashville's on a back-to-back on the road. And Bergeron coming off of his first bad game in a while against the Islanders, I think he's going to go overlooked against Nashville especially. Like, Nashville's still a good team, but I really like Boston 1 tomorrow, and I'm probably going to have at least him and Bergeron and Marchand at least once or twice, just trying to, like, I know it's expensive and it sucks to go against Nashville, but I think they dominate possession and they maybe can dominate a team on a back-to-back. So Matt, I don't think you had the strongest feelings about Boston 1 tomorrow, but is there anything you wanted to say about that?
I mean, like I don't hate Boston 1 because usually when Boston does something, it's Bergeron. Like that line is just fantastic. But I do have hesitations targeting Nashville, even on a back-to-back. I just think there's better spots on the slate. Like, you might be able to get him at a lower ownership, though, just because last game Bergeron was held to exactly 1/2 of a DraftKings point, which is pretty dismal.
That's rare.
By his standards. But I think for me, the name that I'm really looking at down this cheap is Ryan Kessler. Like, he suffered some god-awful luck the last, 3 weeks or so. Like, if you look at his rolling averages, there's been nothing wrong with his game. He's still power play one. It's just completely smashing in terms of his on-ice production. Like, the expected goals for while he's on the ice are still up. And he taken a lot of shots, too. He just wasn't getting the results. In a matchup with Vancouver, and with them kind of stealing Raquel from me. I mean, they only gave Raquel 12 minutes last game. So I think I'm looking pretty heavy at Ryan Kessler, and I would imagine he'll be in my cash lineup tomorrow. Like, I just think he's a really solid cash play.
Yeah, no, I really agree. Like, I think tomorrow, if I make cash lineups and throw them out there, like Bergeron and Kessler are the main two for me. Off the bat, like Kessler, I think is going to get overlooked because people are going to think, like I could maybe bump it up to Getzlaf, and like I don't mind Getzlaf by any means, but last few games, like it's not the shot volume that you need. He's been so point dependent. I mean, I see the 4 assists last game, 3 assists against Edmonton, but I know he has the talent to do that kind of stuff, but his shots have been on goal. I'll read up the last 4 games. 1, 1, 2, 1. Like, if he doesn't get those points, he is terrible, and his price would be dropping. Like, he got the assists that he needed, and I just don't want to ride that. Like, I think Kessler's been a much better fantasy asset, just not as lucky as you mentioned. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
again,
I mean,
like, we don't watch,
too. Like, Getzlaf is super expensive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like, while, like, we don't watch every game, like, I can't sit here and be like, yeah, wait, what?
Getzlaf is 8,000 on FanDuel. Kessler
Yeah, no,
is
I know.
5.8.
It's laughable, and I mean not laughable. It's just mispricing. I think like I don't like you were saying you don't watch every game. It's like I don't know if like those 4 assists he had were really him doing amazing things and dishing it off, or if it was like just kind of he got secondary assists and whatever, and it just kind of built up, and now his price is getting astronomical. If any Anaheim fans are out there, maybe they could tweet at us like what exactly happened in the last game. I didn't watch it against the Rangers. Like I don't know, but I think you get the point. So moving down the list, it really for me like once you get below 6K, it's not very good. Like I don't mind guys like Kadri. I don't mind Carter against Edmonton at all. I don't mind stacking Scheifele with maybe Wheeler. But once you get down below 6K, I'm kind of at a loss. Especially like Couture is probably not going to play, and I feel like there's not really many safe options. But Matt, who do you have kind of in the mid tier?
I mean, I'm not really seeing much that I like in this like 5,000 to 6,000 range. For me, it really seems like a lot of point-dependent players, and for me, I'm just going to go with a guy who we talked about yesterday as being, like he is point-dependent, I think, in Elias Lindholm, but he also does have a pretty decent shot rate for how successful he has been at playmaking. If you didn't catch yesterday's podcast, basically my argument for Elias Lindholm in the same exact matchup, yada yada, is that he is 6th in the NHL in primary assists on the season, and he's actually been incredibly unlucky. I wrote in my Fantasy Insiders piece, which we can talk about at the end of the show. I have a little bit of news about Fantasy Insider, which would be cool for you guys. But primary assists as Nick Backstrom. Nick Backstrom has 30 secondary assists. Lindholm has 4. Like, you're talking about a guy who, if maybe he was shooting a bit better, like he's a 7% shooter, he could be a point-a-game player if he got like a little bit of secondary assist luck. So, like, I think it's a bit ridiculous to say that he has the talent of a point-a-game player, but like he's certainly underpriced for 4.9. I think it's a very fair price to pay for someone who can give you a couple shots and a point. But obviously he didn't do that tonight unless he scores in overtime.
Yeah.
But, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, Lindholm's a 5th overall pick back in the 2013 draft. It's not like it's some random guy that's having a good year. Like he's a really talented younger player that, as we can see from the underlying numbers, it's just definitely bound to break out soon. And if Carolina could keep building their prospect pool, like this could be a good team in the future. I definitely like the take. I feel like a lot of the usual suspects here, like Jason Spezza is on the 4th line right now against Montreal and probably Carey Price. No interest from me. The 2 guys I was debating before we started the podcast were Kyle Turris and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and I decided to go with RNH. Just kind of out of I really like his line mates tomorrow. Actually, it was Eberle and Lucic, and I just feel like he's been getting the ice time. He's on power play too, which is the one knock on him. But I also feel like the shutdown line for LA, they're going to do everything they can to get him on McDavid. I mean, these are 2 teams fighting for their playoff spot still. Like LA is, playoff or bust at this point. They're going to do everything they can to shut down McDavid. And I really wonder if Nugent Hopkins could be a decent GPP play. You could stack him with probably. I mean, Eberle gets the power play matchup. Lucic, I don't know, Matt. Which one would you like more?
Well, I did want to throw out that LA is like dead.
Yeah, but they're also dead, which is the thing.
They
but
rolled over and died.
they can't be is the problem. Like they can't do that because they need to take the playoffs.
I mean, they are legitimately 10 points out of a playoff spot.
Are they really 10? Oh my god.
Yeah. So like they rolled over and died, which I mean that's still a decent argument, I would say, for them being, or for Edmonton being a fine play. You know, I just can't really rationalize playing Edmonton guys that aren't exposed to McDavid at all. Like, no matter the matchup, whatever, like, no one on that team has really shown an ability to generate anything away from McDavid. So, you know, for me, that limits the player pool that I'm looking at for Edmonton down to McDavid, Draisaitl, Maroon, and then Lucic.
Yeah.
So, you know, RNH is simply never going to play with McDavid, and his production's okay, but it's not my type of play for sure.
I think I'm saying it's GPP only for me, and I think you could put him with Lucic. You know, maybe RNH gets one from Lucic. Lucic might get one from McDavid later, and you can just have a really nice night with some cheaper options. I don't know. It's just like I wouldn't play it in cash. Like I said, my cash lineups are probably going to be center price heavy, if that makes sense. And then Kyle Turris, I don't know, but he's been playing really well on the line he's on now, but I think he's going to end up being with Hoffman next game. At least I hope so. They ended up losing to Montreal. I'm pretty sure they got shut out. No, they only scored one. And they definitely changed up the lines a lot. It was Smith, Bobby Ryan, and Turris was really dominating like shots from that line, it felt like. But I really think it's going to be Hoffman, Turris, Ryan next game. Just a hunch, maybe. We're going to see. And then they all correlate on the power play and against Philadelphia.
You didn't have any strong backing for that? I figured you saw it somewhere. They've been rolling with those lines, like mid-February.
No,
so.
They played that line at one point. Like Hoffman, Turris, and Stone. I thought it was at the end of the game. They all went out together. So I was really hoping Ryan, Turris, Ryan, and Hoffman all went out together. So I thought maybe that could carry over into the next game. Like that's just like a predictive thing that might never come true. So again, like it's kind of just like a take I have that might be wrong. So I'm just saying, like if that line does go out there, like I definitely like it.
Understood. Yeah, I mean, Hoffman and Turris are on the power play one together, anyways. So that might be where you want to target them. You know, I'm not a huge fan of this game overall, but like Philly is prone to some breakdowns. They've just been playing really well lately, so that kind of, you know, keeps it to the back of my mind. I'm just trying to figure out, something happened to my team. Oh, Hannafin got credited an assist for something.
Hey.
Okay. So I'm like, wait, why am I cashing all of a sudden? So,
well, I mean, Falk scored the tying goal, and then they went to overtime, and Eddie Lack just got really badly injured. They pulled the stretcher out. It looked like a knee injury. So, yeah, I mean, he's not their starter, but still, like, man, it sounds like that could be really bad.
I'm probably still dead on the night, but maybe if Berglund and Tarasenko hook up or something, because I have a bunch of PMRs behind me that are going to pass me. Anyways, let's get back to it. I was just, you know, checking in. Because
I think you had the only cheap. Oh, sorry. I was trying to transition us better, but.
Oh, no.
You weren't done yelling yet.
I was going to talk about my night for the next 45 minutes and then close out the show. You got to sweat it. You got to sweat it out, even when you're podcasting. You guys know how it is. So, at cheap centers, you know, I mentioned how I don't really like that game much, but Sean Couturier at 3.9 is just, he's like a steady play. You know, he's going to see the minutes. He plays like 17, 18, hits 20 on occasion, and he's still sub 4K. He's been putting up, you know, some decent point numbers, but also the shots are kind of, you know, they're kind of trickling in for him. So I can see this certainly being a matchup where they set him on, you know, whichever line, maybe the Turris line or whatever, and he just kind of goes to town on him, and maybe that results in a goal. He also gets like that empty net time at the end of the game. So, it's not a fantastic play, but I think Couturier is about as good as a cash game option you're going to find for this cheap.
I totally agree. There's really no one else down here.
So-
I mean, you could make a case for like a couple guys if you really, really tried and like dug deep in your soul. Like if you really put a
Yeah.
gun to my head and you said Andrew Shaw, can I like stomach to play him? I would say like maybe.
Yeah, I
But
would
other-
say my gun-to-head play would be Adam Lowry because he is
Okay.
playing that still. But I mean, yeah, like you said,
So is Shaw.
right? No,
Oh, okay.
like
I thought you were
said,
like arguing me. I was
they're
like, yeah,
both-
those two.
no, that's exactly what I was not doing.
I kind of want to argue. I just want to argue with you about it, though. I don't know why.
All right. So what if I told you Michael?
Wait, what?
I thought you wanted to argue about something.
Oh no, I'm good. I honestly missed what you said. Did you say something about Eichel? Because I would have cried.
Oh, I said Matthews is better than Eichel.
Oh my god. No, I'm just kidding. I really don't care. I mean, honestly, they're both great. All right, let's go to wing though. This podcast would take forever if we start that nonsense. Remember when those two really funny Canadians at the thing were like, oh, like Matthews is better, and we're like, okay, and they're like, yeah, you guys are chill about it, and we just like, then we met Chris Pronger. Like, okay, now we'll move on. We're really like talking. They were definitely drunk, and they're just like talking about like the rivalry that's going to ensue between Buffalo and Toronto. And then Chris Pronger just walks out of nowhere, like right up to us. We're like, okay, good times.
Go to the draft. If you
Go to the NHL.
They're
It's
so much
really,
fun.
it's so fun. All right, to the wing.
Yeah, I mean, we have Ovi here. I'm a firm believer that Ovi is back, and even in a matchup against Minnesota, I just don't really worry about matchups for Mr. Ovechkin. Over the last 10 games, he has 57 shots on goal. I just don't have any further analysis. Like, he's priced up a little bit, especially relative to the other options on this slate, but I think you're getting what you pay for. So if you have the money, I think you certainly can play Ovechkin in cash. But give me a couple other top-tier options that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I already mentioned Boston one. I think you could try the Boston power play one onslaught if you wanted. I don't hate it. I don't know. I know Matt doesn't love it, but getting away from them, I do like Blake Wheeler a lot tomorrow. Line is day to day with a sickness. I have no idea. I don't think there's any word out about if he'll play or not. So I'm not gonna I'm gonna base it off of even if Line plays. I still really like Blake Wheeler. I mean, the Devils are god awful. Wheeler's been super consistent, getting 20 minutes, 21 minutes a night. Power play time. I think I had. Hold on. Let's look. He has 5.4 shot attempts in each of his last 5 games, like on average. So you're just looking at a guy that's super consistent, has a great knack for scoring, and is on a line with Scheifele and Parento, right? Last game he was.
He played with Cobb last game because they wanted to spread out their scoring.
But Cobb wouldn't be there. If Viney was back, Cobb wouldn't be there though.
Right. Yeah.
You're right. It's Scheifele, Wheeler, Cobb. So
but
if
you also said Parento again, and I just want to murder you every time you say
oh my god,
Perot wrong.
Perot, and he's playing against Parento. So
Parento
he's
got
not.
traded to Nashville.
No, I mean he's not playing against him. 2 in a row. Okay.
DJ's losing it.
Yeah. I mean, you know what they say, man. If you can't read, just listen to podcasts because you can't read, so it's fine. All right, back to what I was saying. Wheeler, good play. Matt, analysis.
Also, good play. That's my analysis. I do like Wheeler. I think for me, I will end up getting that exposure through Matthew Perot. Perot has been just nutty. I think he's a point a game over his last 17 games or something like that. Point streak, but pretty close. He's been very good, very reliable, and he has a decent shot floor as well. Nothing crazy, but I mean for 4.6, I think he's a very strong play against New Jersey. I may be attending this game as well. I kind of want to go see Line in person. So we'll see about that. But
Yeah.
for me, I think I'm going right back to the well with some guys that I liked today as well. And Philip Forsberg, who went down another 200 to 6.4. He continues to shoot the puck. Um, very strong point upside as well. Like, I don't love the matchup with Boston, but I think for 6.4, you can certainly consider someone with as much talent and as lethal of a shot. And again, Jeff Skinner scored his 11th goal in 11 games. So, yeah, I mean, and he's against the Detroit team playing their third game in 3 nights. So that's just, it's pretty wild, really, to think about. Um, so I'll be interested to see how that kind of plays out from a fantasy perspective. Like, I think when Micah was on the show, he talked about how back-to-back teams, the pace goes down, right? Is that a
Yeah, he did. He said when two teams are playing back to back. I mean, not. He said. I think he mentioned it with like both teams are playing back to back. And I know in his new like feature where he does the matchup analysis, if both teams are in a back to back, he calls it a sludge match because a lot of times there's a ton of neutral zone trapping and neutral zone just like dump and change and like get the guys off quick because they're a little bit more a little tired after playing the night before, late in the year too. Like I can see it. I definitely deters me a bit when both teams are in a back to back. That's why I don't know. I think there'll be a bit of it. I mean, Boston already kind of plays a system of shutting down other teams. I don't know. It's a thought. Like they're going to try their best to get Bergeron's line against Forsberg's line, right?
for sure? Yeah, I was definitely. That's my hesitation. But the power play can happen, and a lot can happen with just the way that Forsberg shoots and how talented he is. I think that they can at least hold their own against Boston. Um, but I was talking about Skinner for that respect, like matchup. But Skinner's just completely shooting the lights out of the puck. So don't expect him to shoot 30% for the rest of the season. But given the matchup and the back-to-backs, that's probably going to be where I kind of focus on. The other name that I wanted to talk about at the mid-tier before I throw it over to you would be Jacob Silfverberg. He did let me down on Sunday night, but he's coming off of a 9-shot game against Winnipeg 2 games before that. So I dug into him, and it turns out that at 5-on-5, Silfverberg has I think 12 shot attempts over the last 5 games, and he has 27 on the power play alone. Like, that is a huge number, but a huge split as well. It's just crazy, what. Whoa, wait, were these shorthanded? Okay, sorry. DataRank is going nuts on me.
That's okay. Are you okay?
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm just looking for the game against Winnipeg. They have 12 shot attempts in all situations, 6 at 5-on-5, 0 shorthanded, and 0 on the power play.
Huh.
So
that math doesn't add up.
Okay, so maybe don't take that for face value.
Well, I'll just kind of jump in if you want to look up. Are you looking up other things or?
No, you can just go ahead.
Yeah,
I still like Silfverberg. Okay.
Yeah, I like Silfverberg fine, and I think he matches up really nicely with Kessler. I mean, both. I would say, they kind of roll out 3 lines pretty consistently, and Kessler, Silfverberg are one of them with Cogliano, which all are fine. But Silfverberg and Kessler both run the same power play last game and saw a ton of time together, which is nice. Another thing, we already mentioned Raquel, but I just wanted to make a quick baseball reference because, we're about to get to baseball season. Would you say Raquel is the Giancarlo Stanton of hockey? Doesn't get the minutes, but he swings for the fences? You know what I mean? It's there. I mean, if he swung and missed at the puck, 55% of the time, like maybe 60 to 75% of the time, then he would totally be it. But like I don't think he misses the puck as much. Like he doesn't strike out every at bat. He doesn't hit a home run. But I'm just saying, like, you know, I don't know. I tried. You know, I really tried here.
I'm having trouble picturing what a Giancarlo Stanton would look like in a hockey. Would he just like miss the puck and then score on the other?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, I mean, it's like Raquel. He has a good amount of shots. I'm just saying that he doesn't really get the ice time he might deserve. Sometimes it feels like, and like, but he's like a GPP kind of guy. Like you don't really play Stanton in cash. You know what I mean? Like you're like, yeah, like that's not smart because he strikes out 4 times a game, like on average. So, all right, I'll move on. I tried. I really wanted to try.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think Raquel can be considered for GPPs. Like I know he put up a good game last time. But I mean, playing only 12 minutes, like, just don't count on that happening. I think what happened was, Anaheim was winning, so they just kind of let it ride.
All right. But anyways, did you figure out your Silverberg stuff, or do you want me to go to my guy?
I didn't look into it. Like I said, I think he's an okay play. I don't know where I would find other information on it. So
yeah. Well, I'm just going to say Mike Hoffman again. I know we mentioned it last show. You guys know by now we really like this guy. Getting 20 minutes of ice time, 19.5, 19.1, 20.3 minutes in his last 3 games. He just keeps going down in price, and I don't think it's like he's doing worse. I mean, at the beginning of the year, we mentioned how he was so unlucky, and now it's kind of like coming together for him. He has points in his last, 7 games, 6 or 7 games. And he produces that stuff. Like, he's really talented, and I'm just not afraid of Philly. I know they've played great lately, but every team has a bad game now and again. So I do like Hoffman tomorrow, and he is, but beneath the middle range of players on DraftKings. And then over on FanDuel, how is he looking on FanDuel? He is 6.9K, which is a bit more. So he's more of a DK play, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think Hoffman's a fine one-off, because he does have game-breaking. Like, his shot is legitimately game-breaking. So, I do love Hoffman, like, as a play. But I'm just not big on Ottawa's matchup in general. So, I think that's really all I have to say on that matter. I kind of have some interest in Rick Nash again. I mean, he's still just super cheap on DraftKings. Again, on FanDuel, he's a bit priced up as well. But, he's a guy who's going to produce the shots. And now that he's scored a goal in each of his last 4 games, like, that's fine. The minutes still aren't there for him, which is really disappointing. But, I might go back to the well with the guy who's, like, he leads his team in Corsi per 60. So, I don't love the game as much as, the trends are telling me to. But I think Rick Nash should be considered for 5,000 on DraftKings.
Yeah, definitely a fair point. Well, let's just keep moving, keep rolling. There's a lot of guys in this range you could consider. We say it every show that, like, we're not going to take every single guy we don't mind. Like, a couple of guys I'll just mention in passing are, I like Radulov, power play 1, line 1. I feel like as of late, he's been getting, 20 minutes of ice time in 2 of the last 3 games. Like, a lot of exposure to good players. Is there anyone else before we get to the lower tier that you wanted to mention as well?
Matthew Perreault, again.
Okay,
I just want to throw him out there. I think he's an excellent play at 4.6 on DraftKings, and on FanDuel, he is 5.4, which puts him in about the same tier of player, given, how different the pricing is on the sites. So I think he's a very strong play. Okay,
definitely like the take there. So I know my guy's super cheap, super punt. I don't even remember your cheap guy. Was it P.A. Brento? I'm joking. He got scratched the past 4 games. All right, go on.
I don't feel incredibly good about this take, but Brett Ritchie for 3.5. He's playing alongside of Tyler Seguin and Remy Ellie, at 5-on-5. He's playing power play 2 as well, which is a very nice floor to build off of. Last game against New Jersey, I watched that. I watched the entire game. Richie and Adam Cracknell were both on the power play 1 at the end of a period where they pulled their goalie. And so what happened was that Cracknell drew a penalty and had a hat trick a couple games ago. So Lindy Ruff decided to begin the second period to just play Cracknell on the power play 1 instead of Brett Ritchie. But he was incredibly close to like being on the power play 1. And with Patrick Sharp out for the season, that role is open, and they need a net front guy. So they turned to Eakin for a shift. It didn't work, obviously, because Eakin's garbage. So I would be really not shocked to see Brett Ritchie on the power play 1 in a matchup for a Stars team that's playing pretty well lately. They're not really being Starsy in the fact that they're playing an up-tempo, at that sort of pace. But for 3.5, playing with Tyler Seguin, I think that's it's a spot I'm going to be keeping an eye on, and hopefully we get some sort of word out of practice on how it's going and if you'll play a power play role.
Yeah, definitely. On the other side of that, I guess in passing again, I'll mention Lehkonen. He played power play 2 last time and saw it looks like a little bit of correlation to the top unit. He at least had correlation to Weber and Markov, so I don't mind him. He's on the third line with Galchenyuk and Shaw, so it's not like the worst line ever. There's some talent around him, but he only did see 12 minutes of ice time with limited power play 2 times, so
yeah,
it's not the safest play.
Played 17 the other night against Detroit, and just nothing. So
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's just I haven't seen enough of the new system. Claude Julien took over, and I don't know what they're doing yet. He might be almost like a situational type of player. They were up 3-1. They won 3-1. They're up during a lot of that game. You just kind of feel like they're not going to put out their weaker defensive guys like Lehkonen, which seems to be the knock on him. I don't know. What do you feel about that? You think that's kind of it? It's like when they try to sit on the lead, they're not going to play Lehkonen, so he got diminished.
They'll probably use Kalkanich in that role a bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
But playing those sort of games in the NHL is just really tough. It's not really quite like the NFL where it's like, well, you see, they're a 10-point underdog, so they're going to be throwing all game. Hockey's so random that even a minus or a plus 400 favorite can go up 1-0 in the first minute and just wipe all of that away. It's incredibly random. So playing those sorts of games, I think, is a net loss over the long run. But it does make sense what you're saying, for sure. Yeah,
well, it's hard because you never know. But I look back at the last Montreal game where Lehkonen had 15, 17 minutes, and they lost 4-1 to Carolina. So they're kind of looking for goals. It makes sense what I'm saying, but you can never predict it. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I know for a fact Dallas is going to score some goals, so they're going to have to keep up with them. It's you don't know that. Carey Price could have a 45-save shutout, and they sit on the lead the best they can. You never know. So yeah, it's a good. I feel like we're both agreeing, but saying I feel like I'm whatever. Moving on. The other guy that I had was Brock Besser. Am I saying the right? Is it Bosier?
I mean, there's no N in his name.
Yeah, but Besser. I said Besser. Besser's right.
Yeah,
that's what I said. I tried not to put an N in it. I feel like I almost wanted to, and I did. Maybe I did. No, it's Besser. I thought I said it weird though, because I kind of feel like you didn't like what I did. All right, whatever. Moving on.
With 6 with DJ live on the Morning Skate podcast.
Yeah, I just gotta learn. I mean, I know I watched him play in college. The kid was awesome. They've been talking about it. This is the guy. Kind of coming up for them. The next guy that maybe could. I mean, they're rebuilding. It's no one's. I mean, unless if you're delusional, they're starting the rebuilding process, and they put him out there last game for 17.5 minutes, power play 1. I know he scored in his first game against Minnesota, but he wasn't on the slate. Then they put him out there on the slate at 2.9, and he just kind of had a 1-point game. But I think this matchup, I don't love the matchup by any means. I think it's okay, but he's out there with Horvat and Barchi and on 5-on-5. also. Like they're putting him out there with good players, so you got to consider him at 3.1.
Yeah, and you said he picked up some power play work as well.
Yeah, power play 1. I mean, the power play 1 for them changed because Stetcher got hurt. So their power play 1 was the Sedins, Besser, Tanev, and Edler. So yeah, that was power play 1 for them. I mean, their second power play unit really isn't like that far behind, and like, I mean, they kind of split it. It feels like I just kind of.
They definitely split it, but it's nice to have a guy with that sort of power play role for sure.
Yeah,
he's good. No problems here with that play. Let's move over to D. Yeah, I mean, it's Brent Burns or bust, really. Like, I know you're all shocked probably, but last game against Nashville, Burns had 11 block shots plus shots on goal, and he picked up an assist. They lost 7-2 as well. So, as I said last week, probably 4 or 5 times before he finally did something, like nothing in his game has turned sour. Like he's still playing a pretty large share of minutes. His on-ice production's still the same. His shot rate is still the same. Really produced from DFS standpoint. I'm willing to, let bygones be bygones and just jump right back on board the Burns train now that he's back at home. I think this matchup's a pretty up-tempo affair. Burns is also only 7.6 on FanDuel as opposed to 8.3 on DraftKings. So he has a lock of all locks on FanDuel. Your thoughts on Burns? I know you wanted to talk about him too.
Yeah, no, like super lock, and I just love guys that might almost feel a contrarian when they never should. It's like this guy is so freaking good, and he's had a couple. I mean, besides the last game against Nashville where he smashed, like kind of like maybe 5 games where he just wasn't producing like what you need from him to pay the price. Actually, kind of like the last maybe. What would you say for him meeting value in DraftKings? Like, how many points do you need out of him to be happy?
I mean,
like above 6,
really,
maybe.
It's like tough. It really depends on the slate because the point of playing cash games is to turn your salary into points. So, if guys like, I don't know, pick like 3 or 4 of the upper tier wingers like Pasternak and Ovi and Draisaitl, maybe all 3 of those guys go for 2 goals and 8 shots apiece and they hit 12. Then, you and Burns, even if he gets you 6, you're still probably screwed. So it's more of a thing where I tend to play as if it'll be a low-scoring slate, as in I try to lock in shots and time on ice, that sort of thing, rather than like chasing points, because I just think they're a bit tougher to predict. But yeah, I would say 6 is a reasonable number to be happy with, and it's a number that he is more than capable of clearing.
Okay. But I mean, yeah, basically I just feel like, it feels contrarian when it shouldn't. Like it feels like a play like not everyone's going to be on. They're going to be like, like Burns has kind of burned me lately, pun fully intended, and I don't know if I'm going to play him against the Rangers, blah, blah, blah. Is it Lundqvist? He's back, right? He's supposed to play? Is that also true?
Yes, he started on Sunday, and he should start on Tuesday.
I think, he's like supposed to start again. Yeah, so I almost think it's confirmed, actually. No, it doesn't say it's confirmed. I don't think it's confirmed yet. But whatever.
I saw today he's going to start.
Oh, you know what? Confirm it. Why not? Okay. Anyways, lock him. I mean, you can try your best. If you put in Burns and you put in Kessler and Bergeron, like, you are going to have to take some super punts. But we'll just keep going. We're just going to plug along. Like, we talk about Burns every show. Like, he's going to win the Norris, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The next guy that I had in the upper tier, I really like Montreal power play 1 tomorrow. I know Matt's not the biggest fan in the world, but Weber's really been playing well as of late. One kind of bad game mixed in there. I think it's GPP only, and if you like Radulov, Pacioretty, and Weber, but you're spending up a bit on that, so I'm just going to throw it out there as like a stack that I kind of like tomorrow against Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, like my thing with targeting Dallas is that they simply have been excellent lately. Um, like ever since they got beat down by Edmonton, that was 6 games ago now. But their last 5 games, they've allowed 2 goals, 3 goals, a shutout, 2 goals, 1 goal, and 1 goal. Like their underlying numbers certainly back that up. Even Kari Lehtinen, like
Yeah,
as
he's
bad
the
as,
second star of the week. NHL.
right, but as bad as he looks this season, his poor numbers are literally only because he has one of the worst shorthanded save percentages that we've ever seen. Like it's like 840 or something ridiculous. Like at 5-on-5, he's been an above average goalie. So assuming that Dallas can stay out of the box and play a relatively low event game like they have been, I have no problem in like not only fading Montreal but playing Kari Lehtinen at 6.9. Really mispricing for Dallas's offensive upside. Like I think they can win. I'm not saying they will, but usually 6.9 is reserved for guys like Mike Smith against St. Louis. Like not underachieving teams against probably overachieving teams. But I mean that's just me. Like certainly. Don't be going out there locking Lehtinen into cash or anything.
No, already locked him. It's over. Can't take him out.
My mid-tier defenseman is Kevin Shattenkirk. I just really think that he's finding his role. Wow.
hey, Matt, puberty's cool.
Yeah. No, I'm like laying down because when I put my laptop.
Wait. Can we stop for a second, really quick?
Yeah, go for it.
So Vasilevsky just got the win on DraftKings. Does he keep that? Because didn't he get pulled and get put back in?
Right. Yeah.
But he gets the win still because. It. Oh, I thought he. Yeah. I'm very high. I had him once, which looked just the worst at one point. Like lineup breaking worse, and
he is the goalie's record. Yeah, because he was in net for the game winner.
Awesome, great. He gets dubbed. I'm pumped. That lineup's not dead. Just need a Berglund goal and I'll be good. Okay.
Good. James moving back on. Scored from St. Steen again.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. That was what. Oh my God, they're murdering. All right, whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's get back to where we were. Defense. Your next guy. Go.
I was saying Kevin Shattenkirk. I was explaining that because when I leave my laptop on my table, it buzzes and you hear that humming in the background. So I need to kind of sit in an awkward position just so it doesn't do that, and that I can actually look at my laptop and talk to the microphone. So it's kind of messing with my vocal range. So don't ask me to break out any karaoke.
I'm gonna ask
anyways, you. I can always count on you, DJ. The last game. It was against Arizona, so don't read too much into that. But his last, he's averaging 4 shots a game over that span. And Minnesota is a team that I've touched on a few times now, but they force shots from the point rather than allowing dangerous chances down low. And obviously he's the power play guy alongside Ovechkin, so I would feel comfortable with fading Ovi and getting exposure through Shattenkirk. I don't think Washington exposure is necessary in this matchup, but I do like Shattenkirk a whole lot, given that I think he's just a really good player. He's playing 20 minutes a night on the power play 1, and the floor numbers have been there for him.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely down for it. I don't need to add anything to that. I was just going to mention that Byfuglien, he's traveling to New Jersey, so we assume he's going to play. If there's any sort of setback, I think that puts Trouba in play and Morrissey. Morrissey got the power play one time with Byfuglien out, and Trouba was logging about 30 minutes the last 2 games. So I think they come in play if Byfuglien doesn't play. If Byfuglien does play, I think he's a fine play. It's impossible pretty much to get him and Burns, but do what you want to do, I guess. Moving down the list more. Oh man, I just got rid of. But do we have anyone in the mid tier? I feel like we really didn't like the mid tier very much. I know Barkov's power play 1, you can mention that. Was there anyone that you like? Oh, well, we probably should mention Justin Falk. I mean, he just had a monster night. So yeah, you can take that if you want really quick.
Well, I mean, he had 9 shots on goal and 2 goals, so.
And his price went down because it was 5K and now it's 4.9 because they priced it before the game. So DraftKings is probably like, whoops. And then FanDuel, he's been pretty cheap for a while. I'm sure he still is.
Yeah.
Down there. Yeah, he is like 4.8 on FanDuel, so that could be a lock. I mean, I don't love back-to-back games for both teams, like not the happiest, but he is very talented for that price. Like he's like the same price as Ryan Ellis. Like you don't play Ryan Ellis over Falk. Like,
but you do.
Friends don't let friends do it though.
Ryan Ellis just gets all of the points though.
He's got to stop.
Back earlier in the game against the Islanders on Monday, but he came right back and got an empty net assist, so that was exciting.
Yeah, he's red hot. I mean, the one good thing about him is like when he's really cheap, which he was earlier, I like playing him because he blocks a ton of shots, has a lot of shots on goal. You know, in a small slate, he's a really nice catch play, but now his price is way up there. Like, no thanks. Anyways, though,
yeah,
I mentioned Markov power play 1, and then my cheap guy. I'm kind of between. If you like Tanev and Edler, both of them power play 1 for Vancouver, and if Steacher is out, like they get a ton of minutes. Tanev's 3-1, and Edler's 3-9. They both saw about 20. I have it up actually. 25 for Edler, 23 for Tanev, power play 1. So like they get a lot of exposure, and you never know if they could net you one. I like Edler more, but
yeah, like Tanev is like not
good.
Good.
No, he's not good. He's not good, but I'm just going to throw it out there.
Like, over the last 10 games, he does have 23 block shots, 7 shots on goal. So that's a floor of 1.5 points. And assuming that he's playing in a power play role, and assuming that Anaheim is actually been very up-tempo lately, I think he's a fine play for 3.1. Edler at 3.9 is a little bit too much for my liking. I'm probably a bit overemphasizing, the difference in their prices. Edler's pretty consistent, but I don't know that he's worth 4,000. My mid-range, bit lower that I'm looking at kind of is Keith Yandel. In an up-tempo matchup with Toronto, no Ekblad means that Yandel plays about 22 to 23 minutes a night, and power play 1. So I like that a lot. And then for cheap, I think you can go right back to the Buffalo well. Bogosian scored on Monday. He had 5 points on Saturday, like 3,000. And Dmitry Kulikov is playing the power play 1. He had an assist, I think, on Monday, and is coming off of a 2-point night against Toronto on Saturday. So, with no Risto, there's just a lot of minutes to go around, and not a ton of bodies to take them. So
Kulikov at 24 minutes, Bogosian 24, McCabe 22. Like that's huge minutes. Kulikov power play 1, and then McCabe and McCabe at power play 2, and then Bogosian just he's always out there and he scored. So yeah, they're all in play, and then the rest are not fair.
Yeah. So I think that's the extent to what we're going to talk about in cash. Do you want to give a couple of GPP takes and then get on out of here?
Yeah, definitely. I already kind of mentioned one of Pacioretty. Hold on, let me just look really quick. If you go Pacioretty, Radulov, and Weber, I mean, it's definitely going to break the bank a bit, but I do like it. I mean, I know Dallas has been good lately, but every team's susceptible to a tough game, and traveling up to Montreal. The one thing I did look up about Weber, I know back when he played for Nashville, he played Dallas a lot. He has 24 points against Dallas in 40 games. I know those aren't really important stats that matter, but I don't know. I just wanted to point that out. He definitely has played him a ton and had success against them. Averaging almost at least a point every other game. Yeah, so that's one stack, my upper price one that I like. That's I think it'll be a bit contrarian tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge slate, so I think that most stacks will be, contrarian. Like, I don't think there's one obvious spot to target on this slate, to be honest. So, um, this is a fun GPP slate, I think. For me, I will be going right back to the Anaheim well, but this time, instead of Getzlaff and Eves and Raquel, for reasons that I've stated already, I'll be going with Kessler and Silverberg. You can bring that back with like a Fowler. Montour played last game, got a little bit of power play time. Not correlating with those two on the power play, but he's a decent. He's always a decent play when he does play. So I think that's where I'm going to be basing my GPP lineups off of, that Kessler Silverberg stack, throwing Cogliano for all the fun.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any like really great cheap stacks that I'm like all over right now. I don't know. Do you have any cheap stacks you're all over? I don't know.
Assuming that Bufflin is out, you could stack up like Morrissey and Perot. You could even throw in Lowry too for like incredibly cheap. Obviously Scheifele and Wheeler. Like, I wouldn't stack the trio just because when Scheifele and Wheeler score, or when that power play scores, it's not going to be Lowry from Morrissey and Perot. Like, they don't really touch the puck all that often. It'll be like Scheifele dishing it to someone who hits someone in front of the net, or Scheifele to Wheeler for the rebound that maybe Lowry stuffs home or something. So going a three-man stack like that is ridiculous, I think. But if you play like Scheifele and Wheeler, you can make that average cost go way down by playing some of their power play mates as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I don't really have like a cheap stack that right now I know I'm going to play, so I don't know if I really want to call any of them out.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't have one. I don't want to lie to anyone. Like, I there really isn't like a cheap stack that I just am in love with.
Wait, DJ, did you just say you're locking in the Bo line? As in Bo Horvat, Besser, and Sven Berchi?
You know what? Let's just look. I was just building the lineup. Oh, wait. No, I needed defenseman. Damn it. I mean, darn it. Whoops. No, that's not even like a swear word. I mean, right? Like, that doesn't even count. You know what?
I cannot tell you.
I don't think that counts, because you can say that on the radio and you can say like the B word. I'm not going to say right now, but we're a clean station for families, because I know like everyone sits down with their children.
So if you guys want to report us for cursing, go to iTunes.com, to the reviews page. You can just type it in right there. Say some things you like about the podcast. Give it 5 stars, and then someone will take care of that swearing issue.
Yeah, but you have to give us 5 stars, and you have to say good stuff, and then you can then it'll be reported just fine.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I don't like despise that Vancouver stack as like a super contrarian take. It does save you a lot of money. I was trying to build a lineup with like the stacks we're mentioning right now, and just like looking what I could do, and I'm super distracted. But I really should get off and like go on with my life. I have a ton of work I should get done, and like I'm just stalling because I don't want to do it.
Aren't we
but
all?
In any event, you know what? Just I feel like if you go out there, and you wait, did you want to mention Jordan Wheel? Did you say something about him, or was that like fake news?
What do you mean?
Didn't someone say like he was line 1 last game and like something, or no? Just never mind.
No, yeah, he was not.
I was saying fake news. Okay.
I was saying Daily Faceoff had it wrong, and he was saying no, they didn't. But I mean, if you look at it, like Wheel played a pretty strong role, and I think he had a great game, but he wasn't playing with Giroux, so
whatever.
I wasn't saying anything.
Then,
but anyways,
yeah.
So lastly, I want to point out that I talked to Dave Kitchen over at fantasyinsiders.com. We talked about him a bit on last show and like how great their baseball stuff is and everything like that. So we had a couple guys in the group me who were interested in joining up and kind of seeing what it was about. So I talked to Dave Kitchen, and he actually gave me a pretty nice little discount for you guys. Like, he doesn't normally do promo codes, so it was kind of cool that I asked him if there are any active, and he's like, no, but I can make one for you. So if you guys are interested, I've talked about them a bunch, so I'm not going to go what they do, but if you go to fantasyinsiders.com and sign up for a plan and use the code MOODS25, Moods is in my name, MOODS 25. You can get $25 off of the plan. So I mean, it's not much, but it's it's a full month, and you can kind of get your feet wet, see if you like it or not, and it's almost time for baseball. So
Yeah.
really excited about that.
No, I was just gonna say, like, especially if you're not an experienced baseball player and you really like some references, some guys that are really sharp, like super duper sharp, guys that have taken down big prizes. Don't they have one guy that won, like, was like ranked in the world championship, like almost won or something?
I mean, probably the main guy that like is in all the live finals is Mr. Tuttle 05. He's
Yeah.
just an awesome dude. So
Yeah. So yeah, these guys, it's not like we're trying to promote a site that we don't really believe in. Like I know Matt writes for them. I need to get some money and just buy it. Like I'm really considering it, and like use that code, and like you get a savings, and then it shows that like we're promoting their business, and maybe next year, well, I mean, I doubt it, but maybe they'll pick us up for a hockey podcast. That's the dream, because then we get like money for doing this every week. But you know what? I don't care. I love doing it, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not like complaining. I'm just saying. But do it. It's awesome. There's a great optimizer. Like we've talked about it all the time. We'll just kind of bring this up every show now, and hopefully people join. And if you do join, tweet at us and let us know that you joined and that you used it, and we'll shout you out on the podcast, and we'll love you just a little bit more.
I won't. Trust me. I love you all equally. Last thing, I saw some guys in the group me kind of, they were checking out Fantasy Insiders, and they were like, oh, wow, this guy's there. Like, what? So the cast members, as we like to call them, Davis Maddock, you might know him. He's the silly millennial with the long hair. He did get a haircut. He now has a dog and a girlfriend, so little Davis is all grown up.
I just wanted
Dave
to join the
Kitchen,
podcast because I think we'd be friends, but he won't. I guess you said he won't join.
I'm just not going to ask him because I know he's busy. He's not even doing baseball stuff this year for the site for like the first time in forever. So
I don't know. Just ask. We should get someone. All right, this is more of an off-air type of conversation. I'll let you continue.
Sammy Reed going Yabo. So yeah, check out their podcast. Like it's really entertaining. Definitely more entertaining than me and DJ. And they'll do MLB previews and MLB.
Well, no, like they're MLB, really good.
Content. So,
oh, sorry. I was gonna say the thing is like I don't even really play NBA because I just don't have the time and the effort. Like once I graduate college and like have a job and like get out of work and have like time and not like night classes, I'd love to play the NBA. And I like listen to their podcast about NBA and I don't even play. Like it really is good. And their baseball stuff is hilarious on top of being really like well thought out and good. And sometimes we just get on this podcast and I feel like I'm just kind of like, yeah, narratives are cool. But I feel like, I don't know. I'm my biggest critic, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
we should close. I'm just rambling.
Yeah,
I'm just checking all my lineups, and Tarasenko saved me, so I was pretty pumped. Like, I'm up to 47 now. Like, I'm ahead of Testosterone's line. Oh nope, actually he's in first. Never mind. I thought he just has so many. I didn't realize. I thought I was ahead of all of his, and I'm like, never mind.
All right. Well, DJ rambles. I will say thank you for listening, guys. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at Morningscape Pod and leave a review if you are able to. We'd much appreciate it. For Doug, for DJ, and for myself, have a good slate, everyone, and we will see you.